It's time for another look at what's new and terrifying on the comic book shelves this week. Here's what to expect if you hit up your comic book shops this week of November 30th, 2022. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out this week in comic book horror, November 30th, 2022. 666 Blood number 2 is from Really Easy Press. The story and art are by Cam Del Rosario, Lauren Armstrong, Andy Gregg, Myra Lara, Pete Faecke, and Carolyn Cash. This indie comic has a very cool premise. 6 creators get 6 pages each to tell a 6-panel story, and all of it fits into this one anthology comic. Sounds damn cool, and usually when rules this tight occur, brilliance is born. I'm really curious about this very indie comic with a very cool concept. Pulp Bites number 1 is from Scout Comics. The stories and art are by Pat Higgins. This issue offers up a pair of tales of terror, all from the twisted mind of Pat Higgins. One tells a story about a couple who fail to read the fine print on their perfect vacation, while another focuses on a pageant mom who gets exactly what she deserves. Both sound like fun, short horror stories worth seeking out. Dead Kingdom number 2 is from Red 5 Comics. The story and art are by Etienne Derepentigny. Derepentigny. Looks like this one is a combination of D&D fantasy and zombie horror. I really dig that gritty cover with some gnarly looking zombies coming at ya. Killadelphia number 25 is from Image Comics. The story is by Rodney Barnes with art by German Erramouspe. General George Washington was one of our founding fathers, but did you know he was also a vampire? See a vamped out Washington take on a Haitian army of the undead. It's cool historical fiction, and it's been going on in this comic for a while, and it's due time for you to check it out. The Army of Darkness vs. Reanimator, Necronomicon Rising, number 5, is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Erik Burnham, with art by Eman Casallos. This is the final issue of this fiery battle for the Book of the Dead between Herbert West and Ash. It's syringes versus chainsaw hands. While one might think Ash is the surefire winner, I wouldn't count that wily West out. This one is for all of the bragging rights in Miskatonic U's locker room. Godzilla, Rivals, Godzilla vs. GIGAN number 1 is from IDW Publishing. The story is by Keith Davidsen, with art by Yasmin Flores Montanez. I'm not 100% informed on GIGAN, but I remember seeing the mechanized bird kaiju once or twice in a Godzilla film. I dig the razor wings he's got, and this series has been pretty great as it focuses on one of Godzilla's rivals in each issue. Stillwater, number 16, is from Skybound Entertainment. The story is by Chip Zdarsky, with art by Mike Spicer. For 16 issues and a few specials, the secret of the town, where age is only a number, has been kept under wraps. In this issue, beans are spilled, and we find out what's the deal with Stillwater. I'm just wondering who's going to clean up all these beans out of my carpet. Hell Witch vs. Lady Death, Wargasm, number 2, is from Coffin Comics. The story is by Brian Pullido and Mike McLean, with art by To Be Determined. To be announced. AKA, I don't know who drew this thing. It's G-string bikini versus G-string thong in this continuation of a major event in the Lady Death universe. If you like swords, and you like those twiggle bitties, then this one is tailor-made for you, my friend. Death Mall number 2 is from Dark Horse Comics. The story is by Adam Cesar, with art by David Stoll. I haven't been able to check this one out, but I can't wait to do so. Apparently, it takes a page from Dawn of the Dead and sets its undead madness in the bowels of the meeting place of the damned that was so popular in the 80s, called The Mall. Watch a group of kids try to make it out alive against undead and unseemly horrors churned out from the bowels of the mall itself. Lovesick number 2 is from Image Comics. The story and art are by Luana Vecchio. I missed covering this one when the first issue was released last month, but now I get to comment on it. While I'm sure the premise and approach are going to be different, I can't get over how this story basically is the same premise of Ed Pisker's truly amazing Red Room series, volumes 1 and 2. I don't want to claim plagiarism, but after reading the best, I can't see how this comic can compare. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'd rather reread Piskor's fantastic stomach-churning and mind-warping comic any old day. Vampirella Year 1, number 4 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Christopher Priest, with art by Ergun Gunduz. So in this issue, Vampirella's dark past is revealed as she attempts a coup with... Wait a minute. That gal on the cover doesn't look 1 year old. That gal's got...
Give me a boo, boo, give me a B, B, give me a S, S. Go boo!
I guess them vampire aliens develop early. Still, this comic is bound to be solidly written, as it's penned by the sensational Christopher Priest. Kingspawn number 17 is from Image Comics. The story is by Sean Lewis, with art by Javier Fernandez. Look out, Kingspawn is making kingly decisions over his realm, and it's going to affect all of humanity. Heavy on the head lies the crown, I guess. I'm just saying shit right now because I'm not reading this comic. But I know there are people out there who love anything Spawn, so hey, look, this week there's a new issue of King Spawn out. So have at it. The Roadie number 3 is from Dark Horse Comics. The story is by Tim Seeley, with art by Fran Galan. A roadie and his illegitimate daughter take on hordes of demons in this rock and roll horror series from true metalhead Tim Seeley. I really like the first issue, and I can't wait to catch up with this dynamic and demonic series. Blood Oath number 4 is from Comixology. The story is by Alex Segura and Rob Hart, with art by Joe Eisma. Seems like this one focuses on a gang war between vampires and gangsters. All I know is that if it's written by Alex Segura, I'll be sure to check it out. Segura has spent a lot of his professional life behind the scenes at DC and Archie. Now he's front and center with a tale of terror filled with suspense and action. I look forward to catching up with this series real soon. Flawed number 3 is from Image Comics. The story is by Chuck Brown, with art by Prenzy. I'm always hesitant to read comics and watch movies focusing on psychiatry and therapy, mainly because I have close ties to the field, and it can easily be represented wrongly and boneheadedly. This is a story about a psychiatrist who deals with her patients' problems in sessions during the day, but by night she sets out to take care of business with these clients in a more physical way. It's basically Daredevil as a psychiatrist, which could be good, but that's only if the comic takes the ethics of therapy into consideration. I'll check this first arc out, which focuses on an immortal serial killer, and get back to you on this one. The Boogeyman number 3 is from Ablaze. The story is from Matthew Salvia, with art by Jet. While there are obvious similarities with Monsters, Inc. and Grant Morrison's Happy, the Boogeyman says we all have our own personalized boogeyman assigned to us. Still, I have been enjoying this series mainly because I like the lead Boogie and dig the monsters who have been dead set on taking him and his human boy out. It also has some great art from some guy named Jet. So there's that. The Approach number 2 is from Boom Studios. The story is by Jason A. Hurley and Jeremy Hahn, with art by Jesus Hervas. I really dug the first issue of this Lovecraftian airport comic. A megastorm causes an airplane to make an emergency landing at a small-town airport, but what is following them in the thick storm clouds is truly monstrous. This first issue was paced well and really hyped a sense of macabre mystery. Can't wait to see where this one takes me. Plush number 1 is from Image Comics. The story is by Doug Wagner, with art by Rico Renzi and Daniel Hilliard. This week, my most eagerly anticipated comic is Plush, a story about the dark side of the furry culture. It focuses on a newbie to the furry community who stumbles into one of the darker corners of a furry convention and finds himself running for his life from animal-costumed lunatics. This is from the team that brought you Vinyl and Plastic. I'm noticing a tactile theme here, and I can't wait to read this truly demented comic. Detective Comics Annual number 22 is from DC Comics. The story is by Ram V, with art by Raphael Albuquerque, Christopher Mitten, and Hayden Sherman. That's one hell of an art team there. Ram V has always been strong when he leans into horror, and I've always felt Batman and horror often go hand in hand. This annual focuses on a werewolf running free in Gotham in the 1700s. Thankfully, a time-lost Batman is there to take him on. Those of you who loved Gotham by Gaslight might want to check out this new descent into Gotham's more horrifying side. Well, that's it for this week's haul. I'll be picking up a bunch of these titles this week, including Detective Comics Annual, Plush, The Boogeyman, The Approach, and I think it's time I checked out Flawed and Blood Oath. How's about you? Let me know which ones look good for you down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside